To this day. To this day.
Drake? The nigga that got bodied by Pusha T?
I hit him clean more times. I beat him.
I hope so.
Okay.
Yeah.
What up, Bushido Spirit, back with another video. Here to talk about Lupita Nyong'o. And to those who are not familiar with this actress, she played in Black Panther, 12 Years a Slave, which I think she won an Oscar for. I'm not too sure. Those are the two major films that she played in, Black Panther and 12 Years of Slave. Now, it said here on Deadline.com that she may be the next Bond girl. It says that she's on a short list to play the next Bond girl, which is pretty interesting, right? Because she has a different look other than those former Bond girls, right? She's dark-skinned, has short hair, and she doesn't quite look like those other Bond girls. Now, there's only been like 4 or 5 black Bond girls, right, throughout the history of the Bond films, which started in 1960-something. I think I found a website here that shows all the Bond girls. I think there's about 75, and out of those 75 Bond girls, there's only been like 4 black ones, 4 or 5. So this is pretty interesting that they would do that now. Now, I do know these films do follow trends. I think one of the first Bond girls was right around the time of like the civil rights movement, and also right around the next one following that one was right around the time of like the blaxploitation wave. So they do kind of follow trends, and Black Panther just hit, so it sort of makes sense for them to look for like a black Bond girl. Now, like I said, this has not been confirmed yet. Says she's on a short list, but this is very interesting right here. I don't know how I feel about this. Not really a big fan of the Bond films, because I didn't really grow up on them. I grew up on fucking Mission Impossible. I had the game and everything, so I'm not really big on the Bond movies, but I do understand how important this could be. Bond girls are seen as the pinnacle of beauty, right? They're seen as Bond only dates the most beautiful women in the world, like according to how they write the character. So there being a black Bond girl is somewhat big, I guess, especially one that looks like Lupita Nyong'o with the short hair. Like, she has African features. She's not like Halle Berry that can kind of pass. She's not super light skinned. She's dark skinned. So this is pretty interesting. Just thinking on it. But like I said, I'm not entirely sure if I want this shit to go down. Because remember what happened, like several years back when they were talking about who was going to be the next Bond, James Bond. They were doing this whole Bond 25 thing. I think Bond 25 is the next film. They were talking about who's going to be the next James Bond. And Idris Elba's name kept coming up over and over again, right? And it kind of makes sense because he's one of the top British actors out there. He plays in a lot of films. Handsome guy, has the British accent, everything. Women like him. So it kind of makes sense for that to be their next step. Also, the Bond films are sort of in the decline, and they're getting kind of stale, so they need something new to like reinvigorate the audiences for the films. Or maybe to generate new audiences. But when his name was mentioned with James Bond, people went crazy. Like, oh my God, that nigger can't play Bond. Let me play a couple videos here. This is one of the videos that came out. This is Rush Limbaugh talking about it. And he's angry as hell about this. About the prospects of Idris Elba playing Bond.
He was white and Scottish. Period. That is who James Bond is. And I know it's racist to probably even point this out. But the franchise needs to get with it, right? The franchise needs to get hip. The franchise needs to get with the 21st century. Well, that's right. We have 50 years of white Bonds because Bond is white. Bond was never black. Ian Fleming never created a black Brit to play James Bond. The character was always white. He was always Scottish.
And you know, like hearing him talk about it is sort of the same way that a lot of people felt around that time. I think the creator James Bond came out, started talking about the shit. But you know, characters change all the time. The race of characters change all the time, often, especially when a product is starting to get stale. So it makes sense that they would try to pursue a different look. So I don't understand why people were mad in the first place about the whole situation. But seeing that people were mad about that, I just can't help but think if she were to be casted, how would people feel? Because I looked at the comment section below the article that first mentioned this, and a lot of people don't like how she looks. They don't like how she looks, saying that she's not attractive. Now these are I don't know what race these dudes are, but you know, and I feel like if she is casted, if this does come true, it's gonna be a lot of that. It's gonna be a lot of what you seen when that black girl was cast to play Starfire. Gonna be a lot of shit like that. A lot. But like I said, I don't even know if I want her to do this shit. Like, because what does being a Bond girl really mean? Like, don't really mean shit. Like I said, James Bond kind of stale anyway. That shit needs to die already. I always fuck with Mission Impossible more, but I just thought this was interesting. Interesting they would look for somebody that looks like Lupita Nyong'o, you know, off the heels of Black Panther, and showing, you know, black empowerment in that film and showing a lot of black women in that film. I just thought that they were trying to, just seems like they're trying to ride a wave or a trend to even put this out here. Or they probably are not going to cast her at all. They're just trying to make headlines for this film, for this product, you know, Bond 25 or whatnot. But yeah, I'm your boy Bushido Spirit. What are your thoughts on this shit?